The runways are quiet, the planes are parked, passenger numbers are down 98%. But the news for the aviation industry isn't getting any better. The government is now understood to want anyone arriving in the UK to self-isolate for 14 days, with just a few exemptions for key workers and those coming from the Irish Republic.
As we get the R number, the reproduction number, down in the UK, and we begin to get things under control, we now have the capacity, as we just discussed in testing as well, it clearly then makes sense to look at what happens at the borders.
But aviation industry representatives believe the quarantine scheme will effectively stop anyone wanting to travel.
It will be devastating because it means an extended period of no travel. And in effect, that undermines their ability then to restart. So, the impact for us will be potentially that, we will see job losses going forward and a shrinking of the services.
And there have already been warnings from a number of carriers that they will have to let people go. The airline industry has been particularly hard hit by this crisis, with 18,000 job losses already planned. But air traffic has been creeping back up. There were 714 flights in and out of the UK on Wednesday, the highest number since the lockdown began. And if it is necessary to ask all travellers to self-isolate now, some are wondering why it wasn't done earlier.
I think it's important that people arriving back into the United Kingdom have clarity, and in the absence of testing, which the government isn't providing, I think it's really important that we do take some measures, not just to keep the public safe, but there's also a real question for many of those people arriving back into the country about how they keep their own families safe.
But it's not just aviation which faces extreme difficulties as restrictions are eased. Today, the Transport Secretary admitted that even if every train, bus and tram was running, social distancing would reduce their capacity by around 90%. And he said he would speed up support for pedestrians and cyclists, including the use of emergency cycle lanes, to start taking the pressure off public transport.